time will only allow me to express the 100th part of what has happened to us. However, before making that judgment, consider a couple more points. Our founding fathers principally understood and documented clearly that the central government, the federal government, has very limited power, especially inside a state, and particularly in controlling land and resources inside a state. The founders made detailed statements about their intent when they drafted the Constitution. These statements are known as the Federalist and Anti-Federalist Papers. Federalist page number 45, pages 292 and 93 reads, "The powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in the state government are numerous and undefined. The powers reserved to the several states will extend to all objects which in ordinary course of affairs concern the lives, liberties, and properties of the people, and the eternal order, improvement, and prosperity of the states." Federal agencies in direct opposition to the founders' intent are claiming over 51% of the lands in the western states, approximately 600 million acres, and 72% of the subsurface mineral rights. It is estimated that the West has more mineral concentration than anywhere else in the world. It is no wonder why these federal agencies of the executive branch are building up standing armies and are willing to kill their own people for it. By ignoring the constitutional limitations on the federal government, people are being abused. The land and resources in the states are being held and sold for federal profit, and the people are left begging for the crumbs, just as the founders predicted would happen if the states lost their gallant patriotism and stopped enforcing the limitations on the central government. Unfortunately, the states cannot properly protect the people without the taxes from the land and resources. The people cannot put food on their table, clothe themselves, or build their homes without the land and the resources. And federal agencies cannot sustain themselves or continue to build their standing armies or manipulate the states, counties, and people through welfare, contracts, and grants without the profits from the land and the resources. All wealth and power derives from the land and the resources. Everything we eat, live in, wear, use, need, or find physical comfort from comes from the earth. Control the land and the resources, and you control the people. To protect the people from the evil designs of men who would use government to gain ultimate power, our founders limited the amount of land and resources our government may control. These limitations are found in the powers granted to the federal government through the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. See Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Our family ranch was put under siege by an army of federal agents, 200 hired mercenaries. Our lives were openly threatened, at gunpoint, for many days in a row. Our cattle were run to death by helicopters, shot from the ground and the air, then buried in mass graves right in front of us. Our century-old water infrastructure was being destroyed by federal backhoes. We were body slammed to the asphalt, tased, gang beaten, detained, and interrogated, and had dogs sicked on us. Our children multiple times had the red dots of hired snipers on their little bodies. The Hammond family and thousands of others across the western states have had their land stolen, water rights taken, and experienced a full list of similar abuses by these federal agencies of the executive branch. Agents of the executive branch claim to have legal, unlimited authority to abuse the people and control the land and resources. We, the people, are in danger. The Constitution prohibits their actions. Everything that is American is against it. The United States is not a communist form of government where the government owns and controls everything. This is against our founding principles, and our founders made it against our laws. The only way they have gotten away with it is because the Department of Justice, an agency of the executive branch. Yes, the Department of Justice is another agency of the executive branch, not the judicial branch. The largest legal team ever known to man, with over 7,000 U.S. attorneys, with unlimited budgets, assistance, support, and resources, all paid for by the American people. They have deceitfully and forcefully, through the courts, shoved down the throats of the American people that agencies of the executive branch have no limits, and that the Constitution does not apply to them. They have destroyed federalism and infiltrated our checks and balances, all in an effort to centralize power, to funnel it into one body so they can control it for their own gain. The only state for power, especially the land and the resources, is to distribute it into millions of people's hands all across this great country, from sea to shining sea, allowing each person to live in liberty while enjoying the benefits of the increase of the earth through the law of the harvest. Land and resources equals power. It is what all ancient and modern conquerors desire. The land and resources must not fall into the hands of a small group of people. It must not be centralized or nationalized. Our food, water, homes, clothing, transportation, our communication, everything that sustains us and everything that we find physical comfort from hangs at risk if the heads of these federal agencies obtain their ultimate objective: control the food, water, air, lumber, iron, and other resources, control the use of the earth, and you have obtained ultimate power over the people. Never was this just about some cattle running in the desert, or just about some poor rancher trying to hold on to his way of life. This is about God and country, about standing so the bad does not overcome the good. This is about each individual, about you, your children, and your grandchildren. This is about food on your table, about having a home to put a table in. This is about agency to choose, about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for many generations to come. This is about freedom. Or maybe, just maybe, the horrible pains of being kept from our families for this long has driven us insane. You be the judge. I know the Lord has protected us and kept us from falling into despair. I know He loves us, and in time I am certain that He will allow us to go home and have that so desired reunion with our little families and all the others we love so very much. Thank you for listening. Ammon Bundy.